understand how to my plug talk.
Tallman, some of the people online, I know there's a lot of people online, but they've been saying that they feel that the Nets took advantage of a new owner, that when Mat Ishbia took over, he was so desperate to make a splash play that he jumped on that trade right away. I mean, Ian, if you want to jump in on that too, like, do you guys think that the Nets kind of took advantage of a fresh owner to make that trade?
It's hard to say. From the looks of it, I think the Nets probably won that trade. I think in the moment as we live, we feel like we have a better chance to win a championship now. But future wise, they in 2-3 years when we look back, the Nets are going to be winning this trade ultimately. And man, I'm surprised you don't like that name, Ian. He's already Mikal Bridges has already been in a South Park episode. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
No.
Well, it was for like 3 seconds. They were doing some protesting thing, making fun of Prince Harry or something, and they showed him run onto onto the court at Barclays Center. That's where they play, right?
Yep.
And just running in again. Yeah, and it showed Mikal Bridges in there. It's great. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I saw some article. I didn't get to read it yet, but I guess Ishbia opened up about how they landed Durant. But I think, I don't know if they took advantage of him. Maybe the fact that he wanted to come in and make such a big splash on his first day, which he successfully did that. So he probably thinks he won in his own eyes. And I think it goes both ways. And I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm not.
It's hard, but it's hard to measure, right? Because everyone's
yeah.
perception or idea of what being taken advantage of is. But I mean, for you personally, Tallman, do you think it sounds like you're leaning towards the Nets kind of did take advantage a little?
A little bit, and I think he allowed it. Ishbia allowed it because I mean, when you have that opportunity to land a player like Durant, I mean, you don't pass it up. So they definitely took advantage of a player that they knew they had to trade anyway. I mean, he wasn't going to stay, and if he did stay, or he wasn't going to play. So I think they did take advantage of him a little bit, and it worked out for both parties, I think.
I think I agree a little bit with what Tallman's saying. It's all about perspective for me, because if you look at it, in a very Suns centric point of view, then yeah, the Nets definitely did take advantage of the Suns. But other way around, if you're Mat Ishbia, I think he wanted to make that trade before he even came in. You know what I mean? He wanted to make that big splash. So in a way, I'm sure Mat Ishbia feels as though he took advantage of the Nets. You know what I mean? By getting Kevin Durant. So it's all about how you look at it. I think, time will tell. It'll really tell the story. If the Suns actually do manage to pull through and win a ring this year, that's not going to be the story. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the Nets took advantage of anybody. And the same goes with the Nets. Like if Mikal stays long term and ends up being, a star in Brooklyn, maybe it will be that way. But we'll have to wait and see. And I think it's all about who you ask right now.
That's great points you bring up, Ian. I mean, it's almost like not like the perspective we keep saying, but like where each individual team is at. Like the Suns championship window appeared to be closing with Chris Paul getting older, DeAndre Ayton being inconsistent. I mean, book, but we were wanting another superstar to pair with him that would be reliable. And without that, it seemed like the Suns might not have, or the perception was that the Suns might not have the firepower to get over that hump. So we mortgaged the future, if you want to use that term, in the now to get an aging superstar in Kevin Durant, who's 34, going on 35, for some younger guys who are in their mid to late 20s. So the Nets kind of realizing that maybe similarly, we aren't able to make the championship push we want to with just Kevin Durant. So let's set ourselves up for more long-term success. I mean, along those lines, though, Mike, do you agree with the decision to mortgage the future?
I mean, it's always tough, but one thing that I always lean towards is I'd rather take a proven commodity than a draft pick in regards to you don't know where you're really going to end up drafting. I mean, how many guys really hit in the draft, even if they're first round picks? There's only 2 rounds in the draft for a reason. And, it's really hard. Sometimes out of draft classes, we only see 5 or 6 guys that are really kind of all-star level guys. only a few that are really contributors or key guys off the bench who can play for a handful of years, and then everything else is just muckety muck, for a lack of a better term. It's just guys who flash between the G League or go overseas, play somewhere for a little bit, and then find themselves out of the league before you even know it. So if I can get a commodity like Kevin Durant, who has experience with Devin Booker playing for the USA team, has experience playing with Chris Paul, same USA team, but I know it's been a couple of years, has experience with Monty Williams as one of his assistant coaches in Oklahoma City, played with Cam Payne, played with Damian Lee, played with TJ Warren. I just think we're talking about a different fit in regards to bringing this type of superstar over. Because the one thing you also have to think about with what happened in Brooklyn, those three guys, the three-headed monster of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, they all went to Brooklyn. Nobody had footing there already, right? Nobody had played for a little bit on the team, wasn't really set. They just picked a destination and said, hopefully we can go here and make it work. But there's a lot of other key factors that have to go into it. Obviously, you get hit with the pandemic, the crazy things, the decisions by Kyrie Irving, just the hard-headedness of James Harden in general, and then having a brand new leader like Steve Nash try and control all those guys. It was really going to have to come to fruition fast for them if they were going to get any traction. And at the end of the day, you see that they only played, 17 total games together? It just was never going to work because of injuries and just all the other off-court kind of craziness that was going on. But here in Phoenix, we have that solidified group who has been here, who has built the culture, and now you're just adding that one piece to come into it. And it's going to take time like we've talked about, but you're not going to have to try and figure out together. It's going to be, hey, we're bringing in KD to be a part of